by now you should have gotten a contracting for this new product, and we'll get the training out for it as far as signing clients up on it. But man, I hope you all fired up about it. That you've listened to, or you at least watched the video and the MP3. The MP3 that Andy Albright MP3. Actually, if you go to Agent Resources, so this is perfect. So last week we talked about the Agent Resources folder. All the HMA stuff's in the Agent Resources folder, like everything under HMA. What a folder name. And it's got actually Andy Albright's initial hour-long phone call that's an MP3 that you can download and listen to, like all the gory details, which is, there are a lot of details. But it is a great way to position yourself to go back to all your clients and show them this and be able to generate a conversation. And you think it's a conversation starter with anyone, but particularly your clients. And this is kind of like the next slide. And I imagine there'll be a slide. I might even throw a slide together for you to put into your ATM to talk about the health maintenance account. So here's kind of the sale after the sale. So another way to lock in your client is after you sell the main insurance product, you got to your RS, all right? Then it's, you go through the rest of the slides, and then, oh, by the way, how much do you guys estimate you spend on your medical? Like co-pays and dental, vision, care, like all that stuff. If you just had to ballpark it, is it $5,000 a year, $3,000 a year, $1,000 a year, $2,500? Everyone's going to say, well, I don't know. We do spend quite a bit on it. Okay, great. Well, listen, we got this great program. It's similar to a health savings account, but it's better. It's a matching account. So every $1 you put in this account for medical expenses, it grows to $2. You'll have $2 that you can spend on those type of medical expenses after 35 months. It's a Visa debit card that you can swipe for all those medical expenses, flu shots, whatever your health insurance won't pay that you got to cover, like the co-pays and everything. That's all that extra stuff. And and in some cases, if you put enough money into it, it'll be a 3-for-1, 2-for-1 matching. So pretty cool. I don't know if you're interested in hearing about that. Is that something that, would you like to hear more about that? Well, yeah, that sounds really cool. Well, listen, let me book another appointment with you next week. By the way, have you ever had cancer or know anyone that's had cancer or had a heart attack, stroke, any of that kind of stuff? Well, as a matter of fact, yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, we got this other program that I think might help you out if you're worried about the expenses related to that as well. So I'll tell you what, I've got time next week. How about this time next week? Would that work for you? Yeah, awesome. I'll see you guys next week. Boom, you did a Megan Wood sale after the sale follow-up, and then you're selling this program, you're selling the critical illness program with Mutual of Omaha, which she's having no problem selling that to people. I mean, it's a great question. Anyone that suffered from cancer, how many people don't know someone that suffered from cancer? Do you know if they had a difficult time financially? Did it really hit them hard? Those kind of questions. How about a heart attack or stroke? Well, listen, we got this program, blah, blah, blah. So what we're really creating with the Alliance is that we're creating an opportunity to add value to people's lives. I'm sorry to sound so altruistic, but gang, when you do something for the right reason and the right intention, then you're on the side of right. Okay, you're on the side of that righteous fortitude of purpose, which you're doing the right thing for people. You know what I mean? Doing the right thing for people. And oh, by the way, you get to benefit financially, which, look, man, I mean, even in the Bible, Lord told his disciples that you should get paid for your work, right? And the opposite of that is if you don't work, you don't eat, okay? So there's kind of that it's a dual-edged sword, all right? So, on a, the theme of this call is sales. And whatever, increasing your sales, multiplying your sales. I don't know if you ever saw Shark Tank or ever watched Shark Tank, but you start learning business nomenclature. And one of the business nomenclature that you'll hear there is client acquisition cost, CAC. Okay, if some of you business nerds, you know what I'm talking about. The cost of acquiring a client, whether it's an internet client, what are you putting up there in your internet advertising to drive traffic to your website? Then how many of those traffickers, first views and multiple page views people convert into a client, okay? I mean, all that stuff's a real thing. Same exact thing we do on our lead program, the client acquisition cost on our lead program, okay? Now, you know that the most expensive client is the first client, okay? Subsequent sales that you make with that client decrease your client acquisition cost, and then where you ultimately get the multiplication value is through the ERS referral system, right? And the ERS referral system, again, going back to the desire to serve families, is to no kidding, it's for these people to call us when the client dies. Like, it is a service. It is something that we sincerely do for people to help them with their insurance program to be able to, 20 years from now, be able to get that value for their families that they originally wanted. Okay, after several moves, and they lost their policy 3 different times when you try to, no one even knows the policy exists except for the 1 or 2 that might call us when the client passes away. All right, so again, in that regard, another service that we're providing, a value add, we're taking our time and energy to go out and go to their people, okay? And then again, opening up the opportunity. Our conversion rate on ERS is, like, the guys in California, they're getting 40 to 60% conversion. You heard Sydney Lagogiannis, her conversion rate's 91, I think it's 90%, isn't it? Her closing rate on her sit downs on all her referrals is 90%, okay? Now, let me ask you, when you call and set up ERS appointments, and you sit down with them, do you think you have a stronger position where you can have the casual conversation? By the way, we just introduced this new product. I'm kind of curious, over the course of the year, how much do you spend on your medical expenses? Co-pays, procedures that aren't covered by your insurance, vitamins, co-pays on your drugs, vision, dental, braces for the kids. Like, just ballpark it for me. Is it $2,500, $5,000? Really, it's $5,000. Well, we've got this really cool program. It's called a health matching account, where you get a dollar for dollar increase in the ability to pay for those expenses. It vests over 35 months. You put about $2,500 in, you'll have the value of $5,000 of benefit for all your medical expenses. You could swipe with a simple Visa debit card, and you can use that money for all your medical expenses as defined by the IRS and IRC code, whatever, okay? No. Do you see how now we've empowered you to make more effective the opportunities when you get in front of clients in additional ways? And then when we add the product of, we add the additional product with the debt consolidation, okay? So let me explain that. I'll explain general terms. So for example, let's say someone's got $40,000 in unsecured credit card debt, okay? How many people do you know have $40,000 of unsecured credit card debt, okay? I being one of them back in the day, okay? So I know what that was like, okay? What we're able to do is we're able to get them into this program where we set them up on a payment program for the next 3 years to pay basically half of that off, Okay, so maybe it's 20 grand, and their payments, you know, their monthly payments on that 40,000 unsecured debt, that could be like $1,200, $1,300 a year or a month, right? We can get that payment down to like $595 a month. Okay, for that 40,000, which is now $595 times, you know, 3 years or whatever, and we get them out of debt. And then they pay an additional fee for counseling to give them expert financial counseling on how to get them out of their other debt, right? And how to become financially sound, get them on their feet. And then that difference from what they're paying for their unsecured debt to what they're paying now, there's some money there. They're probably going to need that money. But look, if they're paying that debt the whole time, then we can teach them how to do financial things that are smart, like Index Universal Life. Can you imagine like $100? Let's teach you how to do $100 into this Index Universal Life that you can have tax-free retirement. And oh, by the way, how much money do you spend in your medical? How would you like to put your money into an account that gets matched 1-for-1 that you can spend on all your medical? And if you're putting enough away, it could be 2-to-1 matching. That'd be cool. Would that help your family out? You see how like the tentacles of this start spreading? And then it's like, oh, by the way, do you have any family and friends that might be interested in a product like this? Oh, you do? Well, look, I mean, I'd appreciate the referral, but how would you like to make a little bit of percentage on what you sell to your family and friends? Have you ever thought about sales before? Well, man, this product's great. I would love to. I've got a lot of people I know that would love a product like this. Awesome. Tell you what, why don't you get started with us? So we fast track them. We get them contracted with HMA. Oh, by the way, you ever thought about selling life insurance? We got this LEAD program. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so client acquisition cost. How about agent acquisition cost? How many of y'all spend money to find people that want to join us on the life insurance side, right? Well, this becomes a natural opportunity to bring other people on under the guise of HMA or this debt. I don't even know what it's called exactly, but the debt restructuring deal. And then we funnel them into our life insurance program. Hey, by the way, how would you like to make $500 a pop, sit down with people on life insurance? In fact, all your family and friends who you know that need this medical thing, wouldn't it be cool if you can ask them, hey, by the way, how's your insurance doing? Do you have mortgage protection? Do you have a 401k that you haven't moved yet? Do you see how it kind of goes both ways? Like, do you understand the power of what we're doing here? Like, man, if you totally understood the power of what we're doing here, you'd just be going crazy. And here's what's cool, is that if you think that those are the only value-added things that we're going to do for our clients, make no mistake, this is just the first picture of what we're doing. It's the first, you know, it's like I used the Jeff Bezos analogy with Amazon. Man, back 20 years ago, I'm not even sure when he started Amazon, but most of you, I would say most of you, there are people that didn't even know this. It's crazy. I was in Columbus, did the Columbus hotspot. And I asked the crowd, I go, okay, so you remember 20 years ago or so when Jeff Bezos started Amazon, do you remember what he first sold? People are staring at me going, I don't know. I'm going, oh my gosh, seriously? And I looked and I realized their age, you know, all they know is Amazon today. They don't know Amazon was a book selling system, an online book retailer is all they were. Remember that, guys? Remember, that's all they were. Jeff Bezos had no idea 20 years later he'd be the wealthiest man in the world or one of the wealthiest. What is he worth? 100 billion or something insane. The company is just billions and billions of dollars. Well, when he started out, he figured out, you know what, I can figure out a way to do online book retailing. He figured, well, I need a warehouse to do this. Man, it costs a lot to hire all these workers to pick and pack boxes to send books out to people. And this warehouse is kind of crazy. How about I figure out a way to automate this? And so get rid of the labor cost. And then if I can automate it, I can have a larger warehouse, right? And then maybe I could have different warehouses in different parts of the country so that people can get their book within a day or two. Hark. And then he thought, well, if this works for books, won't this work for CDs and DVDs? Like, remember, gang, Amazon, CDs and DVDs. So it's books, CDs, and DVDs. It was just more media, right? Media. And then he got the brilliant idea, well, heck, I've got all this warehousing. I've got this automated pick and pack. You know what I could do? I could start warehousing products that people need and want on a regular basis. And I can partner with all these companies that want to tap into my distribution system. And all of a sudden, 20 years later, worth hundreds of billions of dollars. And he had no idea that the Amazon would look like it looks today 20 years ago when he started retailing books. I promise you, like I wish I could read his bio. I don't know if he has a biography. I'd love to read it. He probably thought, man, if I can make a couple $100,000 a year doing this, this would be awesome. You know what I mean? Like, little did he know. I don't know if he had a bigger vision or not. But here's what I know about what we're doing. 20 years ago, we had no idea we'd be doing what we're doing. 20 years ago, we were selling mortgage protection insurance on a pink card lead. On a pink card lead, okay? The people would fill out the back of the pink card. This is what we sold. We sold one product, F&G Life's Home Certain, and that's all we did. We made a ton of freaking money. And remember back in 2000, it was the mortgage boom. Everyone with the brothers getting mortgages. We were sitting down with everybody. We were booking appointments like crazy. We were closing like 80%. And 80% of the people were closing did the return of premium rider. We're making money hand over fist. It was freaking crazy. Now, do you think 20 years ago that we had the vision of what the Alliance would be today? We had no clue that we'd be doing what we'd be doing. 15 companies, life insurance, annuities, right? Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, this debt restructuring deal, and this health matching account. So if 20 years ago, we thought we were one thing, and now we've morphed into this thing, and then we changed our comp program this year to be able to pay different levels from 55 to 120, and it doesn't matter what an insurance company's levels are. It doesn't matter. Whatever their levels are, it doesn't matter, because we can pay out all our levels. You know, that's the problem. We had insurance companies that can only pay out 5 levels. So we consolidate the commission rate levels at each of the 5 levels. So you couldn't earn an override if you had agents writing that product in your same band of, level. Okay. Well, now you can make a piece of the action of everything that runs through our network through your agents. And in many cases, you don't have to be licensed in that state. And I shouldn't say this, so I won't. Let me just say it like this. There are opportunities to create override income without having a license on an organization. It's awesome because of what we're able to do with this program. So now, when you look at what we're starting right now with these 2 products that we're bringing in that don't require life insurance licenses, do you think 5 years from now that Indy's going to find some other things? So why do I say that? I say that, and I should be talking about this tomorrow, okay, on the Builders Call. But imagine an agency like mine. I've got 200 agents, maybe 170 write business every month, okay? I already have a network of people. So what happens when Andy injects another product into my network of people? I just got a raise. He injects another product. I just got another raise. He injects another product. Everyone's fired up about this product. They hire the world. I just got another raise. Is that weird? It is the weirdest thing to me because I still can't conceive how it got started 20 years ago to create the organization that I have, that now Andy's peppering it with opportunity for you, okay, for you to make a lot of money, okay, for you to serve your clients, for all your clients to be better off. And then I just managed magically somehow through the ARC system get paid. It's so weird. So my question for you is what's holding you back from creating your net of opportunity? You know, because the river of opportunity is flowing. How big is your net to capture the opportunity, right? How big is your net? Mine's not big enough, but it is large. How big is yours to take advantage of this opportunity? I don't know. To me, it's smart business. Smart business, totally smart business, man. If you want to take advantage of it, like Dan said, Dan England, this is big. You have no idea. You have no idea where this is going. Here's the other thing. I was just talking to another guy about this really sharp guy in Austin. This guy is mega sharp, really more of a business guy. And he was asking, so tell me about the market. In the 80s, I got into the insurance business and I kind of, did stuff there, but I kind of got out of it. What's the business look like today? Oh my gosh. So I proceeded to tell him about all these opportunities that we've been placing into our business that has an idea of long-term growth. So everything we're doing has long-term to it, okay? Long-term opportunity. We're talking renewals that are paid all the way down to the 55% level for our life insurance and annuities. Renewals that are paid, okay? Long-term, okay? We've got the premium financing retirement system that once you hit a significant level, the agency manager level, and you're making, over 250 grand a year, then you have an opportunity to get a premium financing retirement system where Andy will buy you a policy that doesn't cost you a dime. He'll get a bank to finance the premiums in your IUL that you will grow the cash value over the next 10 years, let it sit there for another 5 years, and then pay the bank off what you owe them, and the rest of the cash value you get to develop a tax-free retirement system the rest of your life. Like we're the only IMO that exists in the insurance industry that's ever done that for their managers, ever done that. So are you getting a feeling like of permanence? Andy Albright, over the last 20 years, had opportunities to sell this company. First, he had 2 opportunities when he had 2 other partners, right? And then when he bought those partners out because they didn't have the vision he did, and he put his butt on the line when he did that because he got the financing to pay them off millions over the course of like 7 years, millions. And once he got done paying them off, that's when he started buying planes, okay? He bet on us, but he bet on his own vision for what he wanted to accomplish. He didn't want to be encumbered by 2 partners, equal partners, that didn't have the vision that he had, right? And so he bought them out. And then since he's owned the company, he's had a few other opportunities of people approaching him to buy the alliance. And he said, I'm not selling nothing, because he wants this business to be a legacy for each one of us and our families. It's his own legacy that he sees going on. So imagine, okay, so everything I'm talking has this idea of permanence to it, right? Permanence, long-term. The CRM program with our clients has this idea of permanence with our clients, where it's automatically populated with every policy you write. Your CRM program gets automatically populated, and then you set everyone up on a customized email and text that will go out automatically year after year after year, every year. And then you call them every year, see how they're doing. They want you to come over. You're going to generate automatic sales through that. But again, it keeps the client with us. Now imagine, now, like I said, the client that has life insurance will buy annuity. Now they got life insurance annuity with us. Oh, by the way, now they got an HMA program. Oh, by the way, we've helped them get debt-free. Do you think they're going to stick with us? We've helped them get debt-free. We helped them save 50% off their medical expenses. They have a life insurance program. They have an indexed universal life that'll give them tax-free retirement in the future. I mean, come on, man. If you don't see how big this opportunity is, man, I don't know how I can expand your vision more. With a new medical product, can you have more than one user on it? Like if it was for a business owner as a benefit to their employees. Absolutely. Business owners are primo on this. They'd be awesome where each one of their employees can benefit. You know, it'd be individual, but they can introduce us to their employees and we can put all their employees on this. Doctors would love this product. Why? Because we're helping their freaking patients pay them with money. So they've got to worry about accounts receivable. The person just swipes their debit card and the doctor gets paid. How about that, for example? I believe there's a family option. Cool. Okay, so we're here to talk about sales. So let's talk about sales. All right. If you haven't gotten this book yet, and I've been slamming this book on every boot camp I've done since we've done boot camps in June, every week, except for maybe 2 weeks. This book, you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. You got to get this book, man. It's the Sandler system, but it's what our ATM sales process has been based on, okay? And he talks about so many great stuff, all right? He talks about so many great stuff. So he talks about upfront contract. The one thing on the negative reverse selling and reversing, okay? So he says here, traditionally, trained salespeople talk 70% of the time in front of a prospect when they ought to talk less than 30% of the time. How many of you try to talk your clients into stuff, man? That's no way to sell. You sell by asking questions. And that's what reversing is asking questions. So what is reversing? Okay, reversing is the whole concept that you really don't want to, you want to know why a client asks a question. Okay, they like, for example, like, you know, you're talking to a client, right, on the phone, and they say something like, well, we had someone come over here. Is this one of those kind of policies where it gives you back all your money at the end? And in your mind, you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be a big premium. Yes, absolutely, sir. This has all its return of premium options, so you can get all your money back at the end of 30 years. Well, that's why this other guy showed us. It was too expensive. Click. See, they asked you an innocent question, and you're implying an intent of that question, right? You're thinking all these things when, in fact, you don't know why they asked the question. So reversing is a very simple process of acknowledging the question and then asking them a question back. And so the fact that he asked the question should make you think, huh, you talked to an agent already. Sir, that's a great question. Why would you be asking that question? Or why is that question important to you? Well, this last agent, man, showed us this $300 a month policy to get all our money back. And it was just insane. It seemed like he was pushing that. And we just felt really uncomfortable. So we told him to leave. Oh, man, I can't believe he did that. Well, I'll tell you what, we have a lot of affordable options with 15 different companies. If all you want to do is find a program that's affordable, that will protect your family, that's exactly what we do for our clients. So look, they have me coming out to your area Thursday and Friday. Looks like I got some time Thursday between 5 and 6, or on Friday between 7 and 8. Which one's better for you and your spouse? Bam, you booked it. Because you didn't assume why they're asking a question. So reversing is answering a question with a question, okay? So here's this cool example. Okay, so this is what he says here. Have you ever noticed that people rarely reveal their true intentions up front? We've all been programmed to cover up, especially in front of a salesperson. It's a form of protection. By not saying what's really on our mind, we have an opportunity to gather information to, quote unquote, test the waters, okay? How many clients you talk to, especially the ones that tend to be more savvy, they do that to you. They test the waters. to check out the territory before we reveal our true intentions or make a commitment. You've done it many times, no doubt, and it's being done back at you all the time. So he says here, husbands and wives play this game all the time. See if this sounds familiar. Husband who wants to go to the movies. I'm home, sweetheart. Hey, a friend at work was telling me that this big new Hollywood blockbuster is a great movie. Wife who doesn't want to go to the movies. Oh yes, I heard a review on today's show. They said it was a wonderful too. Husband thinking he might be going to the movies tonight, but is still uncertain. Well, maybe we'll get to see it sometime soon. Wife, sure, honey, maybe we will. Husband, now feeling safe. Well, how about tonight? Wife, well, I'm a little tired. I don't feel like going out tonight. Husband, protecting himself. Yeah, me neither. Maybe we'll go on the weekend. He says, no one got hurt in the scenario, but the husband wasn't really totally honest either. And he goes, here's how it works in a sales scenario. Prospect. Will this software package work with Windows? Amateur salesperson, excited at sensing a sale. Why, yes. Prospect, even the latest update? Salesperson, yes, even the latest update. Prospect, well, all the other programs I've tried to run with that version haven't been successful. Right? So you always want to know why they're asking a question. In our business, when people ask questions about the product or whatever, you got to find out what's the reason behind it, right? Like, is this one of those programs like I pay for 20 years and then it ends? Oh, that's a great question, sir. Why would you be asking that question? So you could just say, yes, it is one of those type of programs. Okay. Now, what you don't know, kind of the backstory is that his latest 10-year term policy ended. And he got really mad because he didn't realize, because the agent never did an annual review. The agent said that it could last the rest of his life. Okay, it could last the rest of his life. So he's thinking it was going to go on and on and on. So the it could part means that he could renew it till age 95 at a higher premium every year after the initial 10-year level term was done. And the agent fairly might have explained that to him, but the impression that the client got was that it was going to go till age 95, right? People selectively remember what is the most beneficial and advantageous to them. They forget all the caveats with that, okay? For good or for ill. Like, it wasn't like maybe the agent was slimy. The agent's problem is that he didn't meet with the client or call him every year to see how he's doing and remind him that his term policy ends in 10 years, ends on this date. Okay, that was, and the agent wasn't a bad agent. Well, it was a bad agent that he should have kept his client, you know, on a CRM program, right? Yeah, sir, yeah, after 20 years, this is one of those programs that ends. You can leave now. I'm confused. What happened? I thought you were, I said you can leave now. Okay. I don't want to deal with another agent that sells me a stupid policy that ends. Leave. And you just messed up. You want to know. So he goes, is this one of those policies that ends after that 20-year deal? Wow, that's a great question. I'm curious, why does that interest you? Why would you be asking that? Well, the last guy that came in here, is like, I would never work with another life insurance agent that sold that kind of crap, because he totally screwed me. Oh, man. I can't believe that. Listen, we sell permanent policies. We're the best at selling permanent policies that stay the rest of your life. Is that something that you're interested in, something that'll be enforced the rest of your life? Absolutely. I don't want something that's going to end. Okay, great. Well, let me put some options together for you. Boom. You're in his good graces because you're not one of those kind of guys. You separate yourself from what he's thinking about those kind of life insurance agents. I know we sell term. We also sell universal life. I'm not going to try to convince him the mistake that agent made, or that, I'm not going to convince him, because a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still, right? So I'm going to find out. Always know why the person's asking a question. Because, man, clients are savvy these days. They're trying to set you up, man. They want to see what, if you're one of those kind of people. Like on the phone, I get this sometimes. Man, like they say, we're not interested. Oh, I'm kind of curious. Take me back to when you first filled this out. When people fill this out, they're interested about taking care of their family if they die, not to burden their family financially. Is that what you're looking for? Or were you looking for something else? Well, that's what we're looking for. But we're not interested, because the last guy that came out here, he tried to close us right away that first night. We didn't want to commit to anything, and he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's like he wouldn't leave the house. So I told him to get up and leave, and I'm not going to deal with anyone like you like that. Oh man, sir, I cannot believe that there are still agents out there that do that. Absolutely not. My job is to deliver you the information, and then you can do whatever you want with it. It'll take 15, 20 minutes. I'll be there and I'll be out of your hair. Now look, if something makes sense to you, then we can talk further about it. But look, you're the one that makes the decision, not me. I'm just going to lay the information out for you. Right? And so I'm going to make them feel comfortable with me. And then when I go over there, I'm going to charm them with my personality. I'm going to do all my mega bond and rapport, all the NLP stuff I teach, right? And I'm going to do this hypnosis thing on them. No. Although NLP has been associated with hypnosis. I'm going to NLP him to close and take care of his family that night. Okay, and it's not a pressure thing. I'm going to NLP him. Okay, I'm going to do my bond and rapport so the guy feels comfortable, that he trusts me, that he can go ahead and take care of his family that night. I've done that 1,000,000 times, man. I've done 1,000,000 times. So that's why you don't want to screw yourself by presuming anything. I don't presume anything, man. So how the reversing is, you do a softening statement. So whatever the question asks, well, that's a great question. Well, that's an interesting question. Why is that important to you? Okay. So here's what he says about how reversing will help you. By asking questions, you get the prospect to do most of the talking. So you're guiding the client through asking questions. You're not telling them what to do. I can ask a bunch of questions and I can get what I want. Okay. Like for example, I love negative reversing, because negative reversing, I'll talk about, well, let's talk about it. I got tons of videos on negative reversing technique. This is one of the most advanced, but the most powerful sales technique that you will ever use. And this gets you to stop being a stupid salesperson by telling clients stuff, and you get into more sophisticated anti-sales salespeople, salesperson techniques. All right? Okay, so this is kind of the idea of negative reversing. And I like using the pendulum analogy. Okay? So this is a pendulum like you see on a clock. And this position up here, this 3 o'clock position, the 3, doesn't have to, it could be 3 a.m. And then the 9 o'clock position, let's do this. The 3 o'clock position, 9 o'clock position. And this is the buy, and this is, let's get the right English here. They don't buy. Okay? So what normal salespeople do is they do all the talking. They try to convince the client how great the product is. And so this is the client, right? And you're selling them features and benefits. You're talking how great. You're trying to pull the client up to the buy thing. You're trying to just you're pulling them by talking about how great this product is and what it's going to do for their family. I know you love your family and you wouldn't want to see them out on the street, do you? Yeah, so this is a great product. And you try to pull them. And the momentum of the pendulum, the longer you try to sell someone and tell them what to do, their momentum wants to take them this way. And you try to pull them enough, they're never going to buy from you because the momentum of the pendulum will go the opposite way. Okay. So the negative reverse technique, once you master it, and you have to use it judiciously. You can't it's like spice. You do it enough to be effective, but you don't kill the client with negative reversing. Is the client asks a question, you ask more of a negative question. You try to pull the client this way, okay? Try to pull the client. You get behind the client, right? You get behind the client, and then the client's impetus, the client's momentum, is they convince you that they really want to do this. It's a great technique, okay? So it would be like, so here's a great example. It's a simple example. It's in how you ask the question. So when you're like, so this is negative reversing. So the server comes up to your table. So she'll go up to the table and say, so how would you all like some dessert? We have this great cheesecake that's just tremendous. And man, it is like, and she's trying to pull you here. If she negative reverse, she has, oh, you guys wouldn't have room for dessert, would you? I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't want this awesome cheesecake that it's fresh and it's just been going like crazy. Like we're running out of it. You probably wouldn't want to take advantage of that, would you? So she's pulling the client. It's like, and their mouth is watering by now. Okay, so here's another example of negative reversing, you know. Okay, so I come home and I see my son watching TV, you know, afternoon, you know, like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and my son's watching TV. And I'll say to him, oh, wow, so you must have got all your homework done. No. Okay. Well, I'm sure you're getting A's, all A's, aren't you, in all your classes? No. Oh, really? Wow. Huh. That's interesting. You have homework and you're not getting all A's. You know what he does? He shuts the TV off and he gets his butt in his room doing his homework. Now, I could have sold him saying, son, you better do your homework because you'll never get to college if you have bad grades. You don't need to be watching TV with that crap on the TV because it's going to hurt your chances to get into a good college, son. Now, I could have sold him on that. No, it was really interesting. I just asked him a few questions. Huh, wow, you must not have any homework. Huh, you must be getting A's in all your classes. I'm not sarcastic. You can't be sarcastic, negative reversing. You know, there's a little twinge of sarcasm, I know. I'm the father of sarcasm, I know. You shouldn't do that, okay? You got to be nurturing. So anytime you negative reverse, it's nurturing. You really want to help someone by asking questions. I did not tell him to do his homework. I negative reversed the crap out of him. And in fact, I was in the car. Will Perry's, he drove with me to the Columbus hotspot last night. Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday night. And my son calls me, and my son's getting his application ready for tomorrow because November 1st is the deadline for early applications for college. And so he calls me while I'm driving with Will home, and he goes, hey, Daddy, like, what is your degrees again? Well, I got a BS in economics and a master's in economics. Okay, and when did you get your degree? And and I told him 96, or 82 and 96. Okay. And I know he's finishing up this stupid thing. It's due November 1st, and this is like Tuesday night. I go, huh, so you're probably done with that. You're pretty much close to being done with that, aren't you? Oh, yeah. Okay, because, November 1st is like coming up. Yeah. That's what he does to me. Yeah. I go, so I was like saying, I wanted to teach Will, because I covered this in the Columbus hotspot. So I said, so it's not done already, right? No. So it sounds to me like you're probably not really serious about getting into Ohio State's engineering program. Silence on the phone. No, I'm serious. I'm going to get it done. Okay, I'm just wondering, because isn't the deadline November 1st? Yeah. Okay, I was just asking a question. Hey, man, I know you get it done. You're rocking. I love you, man. I'll see you when I get home. You can negative reverse everyone you talk to. You got to practice it. So, honey, we wouldn't happen to be having meatloaf tonight, like my favorite thing. No. Would you like meatloaf? Oh, that would be so awesome. I mean, you got to practice it. You got to practice it. But this freaking works, man. Asking questions works. So that's negative reversing. I've got I got videos on the Agent Resources website. I got videos on negative reversing. So how does reversing? This reversing is asking a question. Negative reversing is getting behind the client, and like you're pulling the client away from where you want them to go. The client goes where they want to go. Okay. Reversing helps you. Questions shift the focus from you to the prospect where it belongs. Questions flatter the prospect and shows your interest in them. Questions help the prospect resolve objections. Some people need to speak out loud to make sense of their situation. Have you ever heard a client object to what they just said? Clients object to what you say, but when it comes out of their mouth, they are less inclined to object to what they say or whatever decisions they come to. And little did they know is that you guided them to that decision that they already wanted. Questions help you gather information, which leads to more questions. So Mary, when you filled this form out, what was on your mind? Take me back to when you first filled this form out. What was on your mind? What was on your heart when you filled this out? Well, we're just looking for, really what this costs. Absolutely. And we're going to get there. But what did you want this policy to do for you? Well, if Joe passes away, he makes most of the income, it's going to be hard. Okay, so tell me, what does hard mean to you? See, hard. I want them to define all those wishy-washy words that they're using. What does hard mean? Well, it just means that it's going to be tough to make the mortgage payment. Oh, and what was the mortgage payment again? It's $1,500. Huh. And how much income are you going to lose when Joe dies? Most of it. What does most mean? Well, I mean, I only make $25,000 a year. You make $75,000. Wow. Okay. Huh. So when is the mortgage due? Beginning of the month. So let's say tomorrow something happens to Joe. November 1st is on Friday. Yeah, tomorrow, right? Is tomorrow. So I'm sure, now this is where you go negative reversing. Well, I'm sure you probably have enough savings to probably cover the mortgage for the next, 12 months? And I'm doing it nice. I'm very nice when I say that. Oh, no. Huh. Well, I'm sure your parents could help you out. You probably got siblings that could chip in and at least help you cover the mortgage for the next maybe 6 months. Oh, I'm not asking my family for help. Be good at doing that. Okay, you're doing it kind and you're nurturing. You see how negative reversing Anyway, questions probe. They uncover the real issues. Prospects hide their true motives as a built-in defense mechanism to thwart salespeople. See, clients are smart now, right? Questions, when handled in a nurturing manner, help the prospect reveal true motives without any pressure from you. See, the way the client's answering the question is they're putting pressure on themselves to take care of this, not you. You're just asking the question. You're the therapist. Like, I've never been to a therapist, but I've seen enough of the therapists on TV. Like, what is it, Good Will Hunting? One thing I know about therapists is that they ask a ton of questions. Why? Because the most powerful form of learning is self-discovery. They're trying to get the client to discover how they truly feel and why they feel the way they're feeling by uncovering the layers of crap and defense mechanisms and calluses over their feelings, their true feelings. They're tearing through that by asking questions so the client finally admits why they feel the way they feel about whatever they're feeling. We're doing the same thing, letting the client discover for themselves how important this is, take care of their family, and that there's no time like the present to take care of them because you're not guaranteed tomorrow. Questions keep you from getting boxed in by a prospect's response. Man, that is a huge one. You're thinking all this time that you're assuming the client wants to do this particular option when in fact they just suckered you into where they're not going to buy with you. Questions allow the prospect to become emotionally involved. People make decisions intellectually, but they buy emotionally. And this is how you can drill down to get to the emotion of the pain. Questions keep you from contracting the most dreaded illness of amateur salespeople, diarrhea of the mouth, when you're vomiting all over you. That's what's funny about new salespeople is they're so dumb. They don't know to ask. All they know is to ask questions because they don't have any information to give them. And they're closing way better when they get started. And then when they start getting smart about insurance, they start vomiting out all their, because they think they're an expert, and then their closing goes down. Because they forget that they were asking a lot of questions before because they didn't know how else to keep the conversation going. So be careful from getting too smart where you want to vomit your knowledge on your clients, man. Questions help you gain credibility in the eyes of the prospect. Amateur salespeople frequently spend their time promising more than they can deliver. This doesn't happen when you're asking questions. Questions help prospects solve their own objections. Only one person has the know-how and the wherewithal to solve the prospect's objections, and that is the prospect. You're letting them answer their own objections. That's what I love about the questioning techniques. Questions enable you to obtain information that otherwise wouldn't be forthcoming. Okay, so in that scenario about the software package, this is the example he gives. So if the salesperson did it properly, it sounds something like this. Prospect, will this software package work with Windows? Professional salesperson, that's an interesting question. Why do you ask? Prospect, well, I'm wondering just how difficult it will be to run in Windows. Professional salesperson, that makes sense. Can I ask you why that's important to you? Another reverse. Prospect, because all other programs I've tried to run in the latest update haven't worked easily. Bam. Okay, what you notice is they got to the heart of what the client's concerns are, not making assumptions when they answer the question, well, absolutely it runs with Windows. See? See how that works? Anyway, there's so many. You need to read this. You need to get this. You probably get it cheap on Amazon.com. Wow, everything just comes in a circle with you, Alex. Yes. I'm trying to teach you how to be more productive in your life so you can do better for your families, add value to your life, man. If I can do that for you, guess what? You get to do that for all your clients and other agents to bring on board our team. Oh, man. Well, I'm fired up. Thanks for plugging in. That's all I got. I might do another conference call in the HMA. I probably need to do it. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow on our builders call. So our builders call is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern after the activity call. And this afternoon, they're going to be talking about BAM, Burlington Alliance Capital Management is going to be talking about annuity products and IULs and I think the F&G. I promoted it on Slack, but man, I really urge you to get on that product call. So rock on, gang. God bless, man. We're fired up. Things are just powerful. The future's so bright, you got to wear shades. Happy Halloween. Make sure you drive safe. Hope your kids are safe. Check their candy. Check for razor plates in the apples. No, I'm conjuring up all those things my parents told me when I was a kid. Anyway, man, rock on. Happy Halloween, everybody. And by the way, our boot camp for in-home sales is tonight, so I might have a costume on. Rock on.